All right. Now we have to do the inside parts. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to 2D view. Now, I want each one of these parts to print individually. Okay? So what I am going to do is I'm going to highlight this whole thing, and then I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to click on the outside one, and it's going to disappear. So now I'm only working with the inside vectors now. Okay, so I'll do that again. Highlight the whole thing, hold down Shift, and click on the outer one, and boom, there you go. Now these inside ones I want to carve out too. So I'm going to go back into the toolpath, and I'm going to create another toolpath by hitting Profile. So if I had hit VCarve, if I hit VCarve here, what's going to happen is all this in here will be carved down because it's in between the vectors, right? So it's reading that, all that will be carved down. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Profile again. We're going to stick with 0.54, but we don't want to do outside on these ones. If we do outside on these ones, as you can see, these are pretty close. So if I do an outside cut here and an outside cut here, I'm going to lose all of that, which is what we do not want to do. So we are actually going to do these ones on it. So we're going to select on, so it will go right where that line is. We may lose a little bit in here and a little bit in here, but not nearly as bad as if we did it out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Same tool, that's fine. 5 passes makes sense. And I'm going to call this inside profile. And then I'm going to calculate that. Yes, it's going to cut through. I accept that, and I'm willing to move on. So there we go. And now we have that. So what we've done is we've now done that. So I'm going to do the outline and inside profiles. I've got them both selected. And I'm going to preview all toolpaths. Okay? So this is what it ends up looking like. We will have the main stem, the outside, and the connecting parts all are going to be one piece. So if I were to double click on that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, you get the idea, right? You get the idea. But we don't want to do that. We can do it. We don't want to do it. All these individual pieces here are going to print out and be their own little standalone piece that will fit within this framework. And that's what makes it so interesting, is that each student or group of students is going to have to create a board. We will define the shapes for them, but we'll have to create the board and actually, with something a little more complicated in Aspire, create their own board that looks like that so they can make sure that what they're doing in there will work. So this is just a very basic tutorial on how this is going to end up looking, and I'm hoping that makes sense to you guys. So actually up on the wall it is going to be more this angle than this angle, but it's going to be up there. But we've already pre-designed this and we've already tested it out in MDF, which is, you know, great for printing and great for quick, but would not put up on a wall. And we have all these out and defined really well. So if you get this board, it's going to be much more complicated than if you get, say, this board. So a lot of work and a lot of perseverance is going to go into getting all these things done. And of course, we will all be here to help them as they are going on. So I just wanted to show you what it's going to kind of look like and how Aspire works. It is a very interesting software. We have just skimmed the top to what this thing can do. And in a later tutorial, I'm actually going to show you how we put type in there and like text and other pictures, same way, and all that stuff all in here, and how we would actually create a board that looks like this. Like, how do we create a board that looks like that? This one little piece right here. So I will show you that in a later one, but until then, that is going to be mainly the computer aspect of this project. Besides the designing, I might do some on some designing in Photoshop and designing in Adobe Illustrator, the ways that kids can go about doing it. But really, as you can see from here, all they need to do is create something black and white that we can vector onto anything. So anything will really work. All right, so thank you for watching. And yeah, that should explain to you what we are doing with the students once they get to the computer lab. Have a good one.